Hi, I'm Jenna with Anime Fire, and I'm here today talking with voice actor Mark Whitten. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Hello, Jenna. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. Well, thank you for coming to talk to me today. So, I want to start off by asking you, how did you first get into voice acting?
Oh boy. So I first got into voice acting. I've been an actor my whole life, I guess, kind of. I've been I've been a cheesy handball my entire life. And I had two older brothers who definitely I looked up to a lot, and I would kind of do whatever they would tell me to do. And I was a very performancy kid even when I was young. So I guess that's like the genesis of it. I would kind of be very willing to like make a fool of myself in public. And that happens to play very well when you're being an actor. But I got into acting in high school, and I was singing as well. I liked a lot of artsy stuff. And despite also liking a lot of math, the art won out, and I started pursuing that as a career. I went to college for musical theater. I went to New York City for a while, and I was pursuing musicals and things like that. I bounced around. I was working for Disney down in Orlando for a while, and then back to New York. And through all of this like experience in the entertainment business, I ended up thinking it was always in my mind that I wanted to do voice acting as well. I just didn't know that I would be doing voice acting in such a big way. And I had a microphone when I moved out to Los Angeles to go after the film career, which is, again, I think a lot of people in entertainment probably keep a lot of things in their orbit. But I had this microphone, and I started making demos of myself. I started dabbling in voiceover, meeting people in the community, and made demos and reels, hooked up with an agent. I made my own podcast, kind of did a lot of different stuff to start to chip away at being in this part of the business. And gosh, I think one thing led to another. I did a lot of small jobs, and small jobs turned into bigger jobs, and now I'm here, and it's that easy.
What a
But
journey
that's
it's been.
yeah, it's been a long and interesting journey, and honestly, I thought I'd be like about four or five other things in the entertainment industry before now, but this happens to feel a lot like home for me.
That's excellent. Now, you've had your hands, like you said, in a lot of different genres, from musical to Disney to voice acting. Besides voice acting, was there one particular job you did that really stuck out to you?
Oh, besides voice acting or even anything in the arts, or oh gosh, what stuck out to me? Well, in the arts, I guess I'll work my way back from there. I really do love musicals. One of my favorite ones I actually did out here. For any musical theater nerds who are listening in, it's called Floyd Collins. It's a musical about a man who is stuck in a cave and dies there, and it just screams musical, and it's actually it's wonderful. I have it's by Adam Gettle. It's the music is beautiful. I ended up having a chance to play Floyd. And you spend the entire show basically rigidly strapped to a plank because he's stuck in a cave. This is it's a true story. There was an actual real life person, Floyd Collins, who was trapped in a cave, and there was a big kerfuffle around the whole ordeal. News outlets were descending upon this small town. And having like a cave in that town was something that would attract tourism. And Floyd Collins he was a big caver. And so he had these big dreams of like having a lot of people come to this town and really doing right by his family, being successful. and that's sort of like it plays into the musical theater portion of it. There's a lot that sings about his aspirations and his goals. Anyways, it actually turns out they were trying to rescue him, and it was over the course of like a couple of weeks. People crawled down into these tight spaces to interview him. It was nuts. Definitely go look it up. It's one of the first. It got a lot of nationwide attention as being one of the first big stories that hit nationwide. So there's that story in the background, the story of how the nation consumed these sort of, I guess, viral moments.
Right.
And this is a viral moment, back almost a century ago. It's crazy. And so that one is very near and dear to me.
Oh, that's very nice. Very interesting story. So in voice acting, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your role as Rengoku in Demon Slayer.
Of course.
I'm a big Demon Slayer fan. I have a little Rengoku "Set Your Heart Ablaze" tattoo.
I love it. I love it.
So in the short course of the Mugen Train movie, fans really connected with Rengoku and fell in love with him, even though it was pretty much a very short period of time for the character to be on air.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever expect this character to become so well loved by the fans?
No, actually, I try to. It hits me different every time I go to a new convention, an event, a signing, or even just a collectible store, an anime store, just kind of out around LA. I see it all the time, but I never expected it. When I got the job, I hadn't read the manga at that point, and so I wasn't as familiar. I knew that Demon Slayer was Demon Slayer and was like a big thing. I had actually auditioned for Zenitsu first, oddly enough.
A lot of yelling.
Yeah, a lot of yelling. Yeah, a lot of yelling. So that audition had come through, and then they auditioned for a lot of the Hashira, and I read for Obanai, Muichiro, and Sanemi, and also Rengoku, of course. When I booked Rengoku, I was super excited because it's just the show is vibrant. The art style is fantastic. It already had this like sort of momentum behind it as an anime. And so when I went into the first session, obviously in the first season, Rengoku is there very briefly. In fact, all the Hashira kind of like hit you really hard in the face, right? And with their one emotion, Rengoku is like all eyes, never blinks, very militant. One of my favorite things in a con is there was this young fan who came up and they said to me, they were like, I was like, oh, so you're a fan of Rengoku? And they're like, no. I was like, all right. And I was like, well, why's that? And they were like, he wanted to kill Tanjiro and Nezuko. And I was like, yeah, you got me. He sure did. He advocated real hard for their death. And that I was like, it was just funny because it is very much, they hit you so hard with those emotion, with that he has this strong sense of honor. He has a strong sense of adherence to the code.
Right.
And so when you first meet him, he's doing what he's going to do. He's like, there's a demon, there's a guy harboring a demon. Let's, two birds, one stone. Let's do it. So at first when I saw him, I was like, all right, this guy's like an interesting force of nature, like all the other Hashira are. And by the time that session ended, they were like, oh, we're so excited. The movie's coming up and we're also so sorry. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like,
no.
I was like, the movie, that's great. That's fantastic. And it hadn't crossed my mind, again, hadn't read the manga, that I die. And spoiler alert for anyone watching, I'm sure that will you've had a lot of time to see the film. Go see it.
It's been
good.
out for a while.
Even if you know that, I still get hit every time I see it. So with that, I got really nervous actually before I started recording the film. And you always want to book parts as an actor. Obviously, you want to book like cool, momentous parts. And then when the weight of responsibility falls on you, you're like, oh crap, I gotta really step up to the bar here. And for some reason, I realized that this was something I don't know. I had nerves about it for some reason. And luckily, it was actually lockdown happened. That's when we recorded. We recorded from home, so I recorded right here. And we got the scripts beforehand, and I was able to kind of which is nice. You don't always have the luxury of getting it so far in advance. So I got to spend a little bit of time with it. And then, of course, shouting tasty a bunch of times in the beginning really lets your nerves melt away.
A little warm up, right?
A little warm up, just a little bit. Pardon me. I need a little warm up myself, actually. Don't mind. Gonna have a jar of water.
Yes, please drink.
Pasta jars, they're the best. So, speaking to that, so once I got done with the film, recording that, even then, I don't think I realized, oh my God, it's like I'm getting choked up about this. Even then, I don't think I realized how much of an impact it had. And then I started to see, obviously, when the film released, how fans responded to it. And that's really kind of what all of this is all about. It's how we respond to these stories and these characters. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. And I still didn't realize how cool it was until I started going and meeting people face to face.
Right.
Because then I saw it in a way that I honestly could not have imagined, at any point along the way doing it. And I'm kind of glad I didn't know, because I think I would have probably been even more in my head. And that can be sometimes the worst thing when you're performing something is thinking about an external impact, which doesn't really have anything to do internally with a character's journey or with how the story is playing out. The audience having an emotional reaction to it is that wonderful, sought after, not a byproduct, a goal of what you want to do, but it's obviously not the thing that you are doing in the moment. But when I encountered that, it was just, I don't know, it was very special, and it continues to be special. And I've heard so many different stories from so many different folks, and they run the gamut from things that are just like small comforts to really serious impacts on people's lives. And I guess I always knew that art could do it because it does it to me, for different projects and different things that I like. And I just think that I never assumed that I would be part of it in this way for something like Demon Slayer. So it feels really special. It feels really humbling. And yeah, I just, I think it's a really cool show. Of course, I finally did read the manga, and I love the show. I love the show for so many more reasons than just my involvement in it. And I wish that we all had time as actors. It's hard to keep up with every project that you're in, and then keep up with projects that you're not in that you really want to be a part of. I'll shout out, I'm playing Baldur's Gate right now, and that's gonna soak a bunch of time.
Oh yeah.
I'm not in that, but my God, I love it. So it is fun when you do have time to connect a little more deeply with a project that you're into. And I've done that for a number of things. But yeah, this one's. Sorry, I probably rambled really far off the point.
No, we
But
love
yeah,
Rengoku. So.
this has been like a growing journey, and it's been everything from like hilarious to bawling your eyes out, weeping, and I don't know. I don't know if there's. I mean, I hope that there's another role or two or three or four or more out there like this, but this one in particular is really special, and it's neat. And we
It's
can
funny.
talk more about actual Demon Slayer if I don't know if we need to reduce even more spoilers, because now that I've like read the thing, I'm like, I want to talk to people. I want to get in the weeds.
You and I can talk about it off the air. But yeah, Rengoku, it's so funny because even with the seasons that have aired, since Mugen Train came out, you're like, okay, I've grieved, it's okay. And then he keeps coming back. He keeps coming back.
Well, it's a good thing of what they do in the writing. It's why the writing's so good. It's that people are like, oh, why did he have to die? And I'm like, well, in a way, like it's as it functions in the story, it's very much a catalyst, and it plays out that way. It's not necessarily that, oh, we lost Rengoku, but it's like how any given person's death or sacrifice or success affects the others in the story. And that's something that I think in particular, obviously a lot of anime is well written, a lot of stories are well written, but Demon Slayer in particular pays a lot of attention to how each small thing really impacts the other characters. Sometimes when we get into maybe more pulpy fiction, you have a thing happen, but we don't always pay as close or as deep an attention to how it impacts everyone around. I just think that they do it very well for this particular story. And I think that's a reason why we connect with it, and a reason why that keeps on lingering for us. I don't know. So some weird special sauce in the mind of the storyteller that gave us something that, can keep on coming back like that.
Right. Now, you said you auditioned for a few of the Hashira and Zenitsu.
Yeah.
If you could have picked any other role in Demon Slayer besides Rengoku, who would you have chosen to voice?
Oh, gosh. Let me see. Oh, gosh. I do like the kids so much. I like Zenitsu a lot. It's a lot of yelling. It's
It's got to be rough.
I love the energy that Bryce brings to Inosuke, and I love Inosuke's energy. I think that is a wild place to be. I think I would be exhausted. I think I'd like to do one round of Inosuke. I don't know. It's hard for me to like point at the roles and say, yeah, I want to be them. A couple things. So for Hashira, I think maybe taking a crack at Sanemi would be fun, actually. I like Sanemi a lot.
Yes, he's very
and then for demons, this might be an unpopular opinion, but maybe Akaza.
Ooh, the connection.
But again, like he's an interesting fella. He's an interesting and aggravating character, and I think that would be a tough one. But I think that would be an interesting one to take a crack at voicing. Gosh, I don't know. There's so many good characters. It's very hard to choose, and then to like put yourself in there, especially when you know everyone who's already like pouring their heart into it, and be like, well, I can't be Zach.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
So, yeah.
So you're going to be attending Anime Las Vegas coming up in March.
Heck yeah.
Have you been there before? Have you been to the con before?
I have not. I have not been to Anime Las Vegas. I'm very much looking forward to it. I've been to Vegas a couple times. My cousin lives out there. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a fun place. Obviously, a lot of energy in the city itself. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's a fun con. What are you most excited to see at Anime Las Vegas?
Oh gosh, I'm always excited to see cosplay. Always, always, always. I love it. I love that people like pour their passion into it. I love it. I love everything from even like casual to the most like decked out. The decked out people, it's like it's a craft and it's a lifestyle. And the folks that wear it casually, it's it's that same sort of thing. It maybe they don't dive hard into the craft, but it's the love that comes through there. And I think one of my favorite things too when I was going to cons is that I played a lot of Genshin Impact, and I'd be there. I'd be like, I see my team walking around, and I see I'm gonna swap them in. So it's like you see everybody obviously around, and then I don't know. I love it. I was also a puppeteer for a long time, so when I see the really like intricate ones, it's one of like part of me wants to like put it on, like walk around. There was a ruin guard at one of the cons I was at, and it just looked like a really well done. I think the guy was on stilts. The whole thing, like the torso separated and was able to spin like the ruin guard spin. And their arms flail out. You had to get a lot of space, but
That's amazing.
yeah, nuts, crazy stuff. So I love that aspect of it. There was a good Sashomaru, and they had like a puppet of the. Gosh, I think I'm thinking this right. Sashomaru, ba 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 ba, and there's a little like fox puppet. Is it the fox or is it? Gosh, now I'm like. Sorry, my mind is going crazy. I have to look up like where this cosplayer was, because he has a little he has this, what is it that's on him? Anyways, they had this puppet to it that was like a hand puppet, and it looked amazing, and they were able to like the eyes were like glowing, and they were able to like make it move and.
That's amazing. That's real craftsmanship.
Yeah. It's super cool. Yeah. So, cosplay for sure.
Yeah, so you're definitely see that in Vegas. I went to the con last year for the first time, and it's so much fun. So I'm very excited to be going back and to meet you in person.
Nice. Oh, cool. That's great.
Yeah, I get to meet you.
Yes.
So, Mark, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me today, and we look forward to seeing you at Anime Las Vegas in March.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I will see you there and see all of you there in Vegas. All right.